Do you like sidearms? Do you like stasis? Do you like weapons that feel really good that have no dedicated drop source? Then this is the gun for you. Hi, my name is Mothman, and I am bringing this to you in good faith because I love this sidearm and think you should give it a try. The weapon in question is the Senuna SI6. It's an Amalan adaptive frame, meaning it's a 3-round burst sidearm, very similar to the Vision and the Last Dance, but this time it gets its origin trait, Amalan Fluid Dynamics, which grant additional stability and reload speed when above half the magazine. However, not only are those weapons being rotated out of the loot pool, you can't compare them to the Senuna since it's stasis and both of those are arc. But since comparison is the thief of joy, we have two others we can compare it to anyways. The Peace Bond from Iron Banner and High Albedo from Europa. Senuna outshines High Albedo in almost every category, so we'll ignore that for now. However, Peace Bond and Senuna are very close in stats, with Peace Bond coming out on top in everything except for stability. In my personal opinion, if you want PvP, go for Peace Bond. Iron Reach plus Rangefinder for a max range roll, which Senuna will not be able to touch, is hard to say no to. But if Iron Banner isn't around or you aren't able to play, Senuna is a great alternative, but PvE is really where it shines. This carried me through the legendary campaign on my Stasis Hunter and I fell in love with it. Its perks are very basic for a world drop, really only having one or two options in both columns that you want to look out for both PvE and PvP. At this point in making this, I'm still looking for my PvP role and am very sad. So let's start with that. PvP, barrel and mag perks are as always personal preference on how you want weapons to perform. This weapon is so stable though, that picking full bore for the plus 15 range and then choosing ricochet rounds to somewhat nullify the negative to stability is a good combo. You do have two options in your third column perks. Perfect float, even if you don't give a damn about airborne effectiveness, being able to reduce flinch is very handy. However, this weapon's base stability is so high that it's basically pointless. Under Pressure is really the perk you want since it pairs with its origin trait, which increases its stability and reload speed for the top half of the magazine. With Under Pressure, when you're under half of the magazine, it will increase your stability and give you added benefit to accuracy. So that overall makes it the better pick for PvP. Fourth column is pretty straightforward. You have Elemental Capacitor, which I personally don't like using, but other people find more use out of it. But this is where it sits above Peace Bond. It gets Headseeker, which in terms of numbers, I almost failed high school math, so I'll spare you the details of that. But it adds a level of forgiveness to your shots, and with the way this gun bounces upwards, it seems like a natural choice. However, this is where the negative comes in on this gun. At this moment, there is no dedicated loot source for it. It is 100% world drop, and with how many guns are in that pool, you get a very few a week. It's somewhat rough. I was lucky to get my PvE god roll very early on, thankfully, but this PvP roll still eludes me. Now let's talk PvE. To me, if you want a PvE roll of any gun, it all boils down to one thing: the overall feel of the gun. If it doesn't feel good to shoot, I'm not going to use it. That's why I don't enjoy certain weapons like Duty Bound, Peace Bond, Forensic Nightmare, just to name a few. But the Senuna definitely fits the feel good mark, and it has a good perk combo to pair with it as well. I always prioritize handling in PvE since I'm a mouse and keyboard player. I don't typically notice the low versus high stability unless it's drastic. So Arrowhead to get its recoil direction to 100 or Fluted for just the pure handling bumps are my go-to choices. There are only two mag perks that actually increase the magazine size, extended and appended. Otherwise it's all range boosters and flared magwell. This one entirely boils down to personal preference. You're going to be reloading this thing a ton anyways, and faster at that, so extended mag would probably be the best. Main perks also fall into the two perk combo options, unfortunately. It does roll with the new perk Envious Assassin, which is essentially Ambitious Assassin, but you use other weapons. Not really something I'm looking for at primary weapons, since those are the ones I want to use most often, but it is an option. This is where Feeding Frenzy comes into play. Get a ton of kills, reload super fast, simple, effective, there. Damage perks are a little rough for PvE, but it has two standout ones. The first one is Golden Tricorn, which is outright a 15% damage bonus, which is nice, but proccing the secondary effect is where I have problems, unless you're a Titan. Warlock and Hunter, their melee abilities are something that can be used for freezing larger targets, which is better than wasting it on smaller targets, and Stasis Grenades are mostly utility except for Shatter Dive and Titan shenanigans. So if that's your playstyle, by all means, go for it. My roll has Headstone, which is great for many reasons. It synergizes with stasis builds, the crystals it creates when destroyed creates a damaging effect that isn't exclusive to any subclass, and it turns enemy into popsicles. That's great! Anyway, I think that's all for me. If you enjoyed this video, please check out some of my other content, follow me on Twitter, Twitch, like and subscribe, yada yada. On that note, have a great night, and thank you for watching.